A documentary about flying saucers made by an Air Force officer who used to analyze and detect objects in the air plays in the background. Major Kehoe, who is the author of the book Flying Saucers Are Real, discloses that unidentified objects could be interplanetary, which means they maneuver between planets. In just 3 years of investigation, many pilots have spotted objects going at incredibly high speeds, up to 500 miles per hour. In a village called Badger, a family of 4 is having supper. The parents and their 2 little daughters begin to pray. While blessing their dinner, something strange happens. The table and utensils start shaking with force. Suddenly, something strikes the earth, and everybody faints. After some time, they regain their senses. Everything seems fine until a supernatural event takes place. The parents and their elder daughter pass away as a result of something unnatural. News about the massive explosion spreads like fire all over the United States. They wonder if it was a terrorist attack or natural disaster. A news reporter at the site of the devastation is live on TV, revealing some information. Every human in that town is no more, and media reporters are staying 50 miles away from ground zero, as the air is highly toxic there. One can only enter the town if they wear a hazmat suit. While talking about the leads, the reporter says there are 2 theories. 1, it could be due to some chemical plant that has polluted the environment. 2, it was a chemical bomb. But everyone is puzzled as to why such a small farming community was targeted. If this was a terrorist attack, why not target a big city? The U.S. Army summons Dr. Lauren Stone. She is a well-known exobiologist who works at NASA and is interested in life beyond Earth. Colonel Roger also summons an astrobiologist, David Santiago. He wants them to combine their expertise and deal with the situation. He specifically chose Lauren because he believes in her. According to her file, she can solve any mystery related to extraterrestrial life. Lauren finds nothing notable at the scene, but she notices a small seedling growing into a plant and notes that it is very strange for a seedling to grow upright in toxic soil. She feels some kind of connection with that little plant and takes a photograph of it. Later, while she is doing research on meteorite strikes, she finds something surprising. A very similar event took place in 2013 in a small Russian village. Russians tried to conceal the event, but some evidence can still be found. A very confidential video of a Russian woman detailing the explosion helps Lauren understand the facts. This video reveals that the Russian army is hiding something from the public. It was not a meteorite that struck their village, but something else. Videos and images of the 2 events show further similarities. A flying object that looks like a bright star appears in the sky before the strike in both of the disasters. Interestingly, a seedling sprouted in the Russian village as well. The people in that town disappear, too. 2 medical professionals are now doing an autopsy on the corpse of Robert Windsor, victim of the explosion. Stunned, they discover that the corpses have incredible healing powers. They check the other corpses and find out that all the victims of the event are now starting to heal themselves. It is biologically impossible. They have no pulses, no breathing movements, and no sign of being alive. Yet, there they are. They cannot respond or remember their loved ones. They are emotionless and senseless and can't say anything. Despite their unconscious state, they did not have rigor mortis, and their skin seems perfectly normal. People are in a state of shock after hearing the news of their loved one's resurrection. The fact that the victims cannot recognize or show any emotions to their family, friends, or loved ones is an unbearable feeling. If these human beings can't remember their original identity, what are they? Are they here for some supernatural reason? Are they harmful to other people on Earth? To the public, these are the most vital questions. A group of scientists theorize that people who live near the explosion are more susceptible to resurrection. Apart from the toxic air, there were some particles in the air that were inhaled by those in close proximity, which could have caused their resurrection. To add to the mystery, the resurrected victims tend to face one specific direction. Lauren tells the colonel that it is a repeated event. It is not just an accident, but a targeted attack. The same has happened in Russia, and Russians tried to conceal the facts, but there are undeniable similarities in both happenings. The colonel dismisses her theory on the basis that it lacks proper evidence. David does some research too. He wants to discover why they are facing one direction. He utilizes the fact that Muslims pray only in one direction, Mecca. Anywhere they are standing on earth, they always turn to face the holy city. Similarly, all these resurrected people face toward the north, and Badger lies in the north. Experiments done on the resurrected victims show that there are some unidentified molecules in their tissues and organs. Further analysis reveals that their DNA sequencing is changing and converting their genetic codes into an entirely different sequence. They believe that their DNA is being modified to an unknown sequence, an extraterrestrial sequence. The higher authorities, the general in command, and the president, think that incineration of the resurrected victims is a good option. Lauren enlightens them that this is not the first time such an event happened. She's almost sure that it will happen again in the future. So, incineration is not a good option. This is just a small village. But what if it happens in a city or town with a larger population next time? They must find a solution to this. Lauren begins having recurring flashes of a mysterious memory with her father. The turning point in the investigation happens. The resurrected victims show a response to the image of the little seedling. With their combined findings, Lauren and David urge the authorities to take one of the victims to Badger to see if they would show any response. They arrive at Badger. To their surprise, the little seedling that Lauren found has grown into an enormous tree. At first, Robert Windsor, who was chosen for the experiment, shows no movement at all. The scientists begin to doubt their theory, but after a while, he starts to show some movement as he faces the monstrous tree. They all watch, perplexed, as Robert's pulse, ability to breathe, and muscle movements all return. He can easily breathe the toxic air. Meanwhile, Lauren can't help but dwell in her memories. She remembers how her father visited her to talk about her mother, who had passed away when she was 10. She also remembers how she asked her father for a science lab instead of a bike or Barbie on her 8th birthday. Her father wanted her to lead a normal life, but her interest in science consumed her. Her parents were worried about her, and her father is still worrying. Colonel snaps Lauren out of it and asks her to talk to Robert, who has been wanting to communicate with her. Colonel thinks Robert sees a friend in Lauren. During the conversation, Robert reveals that he has come from another planet that has recently become inhabitable. Lauren asks, why Earth? Robert discloses that this tree of life can only grow on Earth. They were given the coordinates to find this planet. Upon asking who gave them the coordinates, he tells them that a human by the moniker of Supernova 94 did. This human has made contact with them and also told them about Earth's strengths and weaknesses. Robert unveils that they have abilities that are beyond humans' understanding. He demonstrates these abilities when two scientists try to pierce a hole into their tree of life. It results in a very miserable loss of lives for all the scientists except Lauren. Air Force fighter pilots are now trying to take a shot at Robert, but the missiles disappear or break down into pieces before they can reach him. There seems to be an aura or protecting shield covering them and blocking any destructive weapon. His abilities are truly beyond human capacity. The media is calling Supernova 94, who is now officially on the FBI's most wanted list, a terrorist. Peculiar things are now happening all over the world, not just in the United States and Russia. Some argue that toxic smoke in the region is harming innocent lives, while some people claim to have heard terrible noises in their houses and lawns. In other words, the whole world is now at the stake of the foreign invaders. Martial law is declared, and military forces take control over all civilian government. The crops are dying from toxicity. People think that they are on the brink of a mass extinction. Religious panic also ensues. Everyone prays to their gods to forgive them and remove this burden. The world is coming to an end, but why does it bring a sense of relief to Lauren? She never felt like she belonged anywhere, and for the first time, she feels that truth is within her reach, right here. Putting on her oxygen mask, she comes to Robert and the Tree of Life. She can feel the roots of that tree growing beneath the earth in all its vastness. Robert explains everything to her. It was she who gave these extraterrestrial beings a life through her intimate connection with the seedling. She gets another flashing memory. This time, it is of her father taking her to a mysterious place. It was an investigation center for a supposed alien invasion. Roaming around the place, she finds a body of an alien lying in a protective glass box. She accidentally makes contact with it by joining hands through the barrier. It inoculated her with an obsession for extraterrestrial life and unnatural intelligence. She was only 8 when she made the blueprint for an entire rocket. Her parents worried about her ability to use scientific devices at such a young age. But it was all because she had the modified DNA sequence. She was the Supernova 94 who made contact with hostile life and sent them coordinates. The knowledge changes everything for her. She realizes that she is the cause. She is the only human on the planet who can breathe in the toxic air. She is the one who will lead the invaders in their takeover of Earth. The Earth becomes a ruin, and its inhabitants are taken out as the extraterrestrials start to occupy it. Lauren finally feels like she belongs.